Imagine you're standing in a grocery store. You only came there to buy milk, and 5 minutes later, you're comparing 10 different kinds of milk. Like, you got organic, whole milk, 2%, almond, oat, lactose free, and suddenly a simple decision becomes exhausting. And by the time that you reach the cashier, you made dozens of tiny choices. Like what to buy, what not to buy, what aisle to take, and what snacks look good. And honestly, like none of those decisions feel important. But psychologists have discovered something fascinating here. Every decision you make costs mental energy. And the more decisions you make, the more difficult it is for you to take the next one. And this phenomenon is called decision fatigue. It's why judges become more likely to deny parole late in their day. And it's why shoppers make more impulsive purchases before leaving the store. And it may also explain why so many traders break their rules not at the beginning of the session but near the end. Because trading is not just a battle against the market, sometimes it's a battle against a tired mind. Look, most people think mental energy is unlimited. It isn't. Like, you gotta rest. Like, think about your morning before you even look at the chart. Like, you've already made decisions, right? Like, should I wake up now? Should I look at my phone and scroll through? Like, should I make coffee or tea? Should I eat? Should I answer this message? Should I check my email? Should I go work out and go to the gym? And none of these choices seem significant, right? But each one withdraws a tiny amount from your mental bank account. Now imagine sitting down to trade. In front of your computer, you open up your chart and you see the candles, and every candle asks another question. Is this a setup? Should I wait? Should I scale in? Should I move my stop? Should I take profits now? Your brain's making hundreds of tiny judgments that you don't even realize, and eventually it gets tiring. Not physically, like mentally. And the tired brains rarely make a disciplined decision. And this is why discipline feels easier in the morning. Like, have you ever noticed how much easier it is to follow your rules during your first trade, right? You're patient, you're focused, you're objective, and your checklist matters. Your process feels so crystal clear, and then something changes. Maybe you lose, maybe you win. Maybe nothing happens for an entire hour, and then suddenly you're entering trades that wasn't really there in the first place. You begin to move your stops, you ignore your plan, and the strategy didn't change, you did. Not because your discipline disappeared, but because your mental resources slowly drained one decision at a time. Look, many traders believe that watching charts all day make them better traders. Sometimes it actually does the opposite. Think about what happens when you stare at a 5 minute chart for 6 hours. Every candle becomes meaningful, and every pullback looks like an opportunity, and every breakout demands attention. Your brain never gets a chance to rest, and eventually it begins searching for action instead of quality. Not because the setups improve, because boredom and fatigue quietly lower your standards. And the longer you watch, the more likely you are to convince yourself that average setup are the exceptional ones. So you ended up trading them. Now imagine you taking 3 trades. One's a winner, 2 are losers. Nothing catastrophic, right? But your brain is already working harder than it was 2 hours ago. Then the next setup appears. It's not perfect. Normally you skip it, but today's different. You're tired, you're frustrated, maybe slightly impatient. And decision fatigue does not usually scream, it whispers. Close enough. It's probably fine. You don't want to miss this one. And that's the dangerous part. You don't realize that your standards have changed. Like, you simply feel like you're more willing to compromise, especially when you're tired. Look, most traders believe that they need more willpower. Like they just say, I just need to be more disciplined, or I just need to have a stronger self-control. But what if discipline is not the real problem in the first place? Imagine asking somebody to sprint, right? And after they run a marathon, could they do it? Maybe for a few seconds, but eventually their body says no. Your brain works the exact same way. Look, willpower is not infinite. It fades, and the more decisions that you force yourself to make, the weaker your ability becomes to make those decisions, to resist impulsive choices. And that's why relying on motivation alone rarely works. Systems outperform willpower every time, and that's why you gotta have systems in place. Like, have you ever wondered why experienced traders often have surprisingly simple routines? They have the same charts, the same watch list, the same risk, and the same process. It isn't because they're lazy, it's because they've learned that unnecessary decisions create unnecessary mistakes. Every extra indicator is just another decision. Every extra market, another choice. Every extra strategy, another opportunity to go second guess yourself. Simplicity is not boring. It's protective. It preserves mental energy. It preserves mental energy for the decisions that actually matter. Listen, most traders think that their biggest mistake is one bad trade. And honestly, it usually isn't. The real danger is the slow erosion of judgment. Like one impulsive trade makes the next impulsive trade much easier, and one broken rule makes the second rule easier to ignore. And eventually, you're not making decisions anymore. Like you're simply just reacting. And by the time many traders recognize what's happening, they've already given back the profits they spent all morning earning. Not because they forgot their strategy, but because they forgot their own mental limits. Look, here's an uncomfortable thought. Like sometimes the most profitable decisions you make all day is closing your platform. As funny as that sounds, like not because the market is bad, but because your mind is at the moment. Professional athletes don't train at maximum intensity every single minute. Like pilots don't fly endlessly without rest. And surgeons, they don't perform operations for 16 hours straight without breaks. I'll be terrified. And yet, traders often believe that they should remain perfectly focused for an entire trading session. And honestly, like that's just unrealistic. Look, your brain wasn't built for that. And pretending otherwise, like hoping that you can have the willpower to like stay super focused is expensive. And sometimes protecting your mind by giving it a rest, right? It's also protecting your account. So, how do you fight decision fatigue? Not with motivation, with design. You got to reduce unnecessary choices. Like maybe trade fewer setups, create a checklist, and know your maximum amount of trades for the day before the session begins. Decide your risk beforehand, before the market opens, and schedule breaks. Stand up, like walk away from the screen, take a breather. Let your brain recover because discipline becomes much easier when you stop forcing your brain to make hundreds of unnecessary decisions. Like the fewer choices you make, the more energy you have, especially for the important ones. Most traders believe that consistency comes from finding a better strategy. Sometimes it simply comes from protecting your ability to make good decisions. The market doesn't just test your analysis, right? It also tests your attention, your patience, your focus, and most importantly, your mental endurance. Because every trading day, your brain is quietly spending energy one decision at a time. The question is not whether you'll become mentally tired. You will, I guarantee you that. The real question is, will you recognize it before it starts making decision for you? Because the trader who protects their mind often protects their capital. Maybe that's the hidden edge, like not seeing something that everybody else miss, but knowing when your own mind is no longer seeing clearly. So master your mind, master the market. This is NQ State of Mind. If this video helped you in any way, shape, or form, please like and subscribe. You help us out a lot. All right, you guys have a good trading day. We'll see you later in the next video.